Hello and welcome to the show. We are going to write a bill here and it will be great. Could we define the word goodwill and what it has historically meant and what it means today and how many places we actually have to go and pray and get a free meal today that is set up for older people who are lonely and true and just want somebody to love through and through?
That's a thoughtful question that touches on both business/accounting principles and social/philanthropic concepts. I can certainly define the word goodwill for you across time and then address the social aspect of community meals and support for the elderly. Defining goodwill. The word goodwill has two distinct but related meanings. 1. Historical and general meaning since the 14th century. Definition. A friendly, helpful, or benevolent attitude toward others. A cheerful willingness, kind favor. Historical context. Historically, this was the primary meaning, rooted in the idea of goodwill toward men, as in the traditional Christmas greeting. It represents a general atmosphere of positive intent, cooperation, and positive relations. Example. The two nations exchanged gifts to show their mutual goodwill. 2. Modern business and accounting meaning. Intangible asset. Definition. In business, goodwill is an intangible asset that represents the value of a company that is not attributable to its other specific identifiable assets, like property, equipment, or cash. What it represents. It is the premium placed on a company's value due to its reputation, brand name, loyal customer base, positive employee relations, strong management, and proprietary knowledge. Essentially, it's established positive standing in the market. How it's valued today. Goodwill is most often recorded on a balance sheet only when one company acquires another. Formula. It is calculated as the purchase price of the acquired company minus the fair market value of its net identifiable assets. Example. Company A buys Company B for $10 million. Company B's net identifiable assets are valued at $7 million. The $3 million difference is recorded as goodwill on Company A's balance sheet. Community meals and support for the elderly. Regarding your question about places where older, lonely people can go for a free meal, companionship, and love, you are describing a crucial need served by many nonprofit, faith-based, and government-supported community programs. The term goodwill in the first, historical sense, a spirit of benevolence and help, is the driving force behind these services. Here's a summary of the types of places you can look for today. 1. Senior centers and community centers. What they are. Often government or local nonprofit facilities. Services. They frequently host congregate meal programs, sometimes called Meals on Wheels sites, even if the meal is served at the center. These meals are often free or low cost for seniors, usually 60 plus, and are specifically designed to offer social interaction and companionship along with nutrition. To find one, look up the Area Agency on Aging, AAA, for your region. 2. Faith-based organizations, churches, mosques, temples, etc. What they are. Many religious institutions host soup kitchens, community dinners, or pantry programs that often include a free sit-down meal. Services. While they serve people of all ages who are food insecure, they often have a specific day or program focused on seniors and social connection. Prayer, or a short non-denominational reflection, is sometimes offered, but the focus is usually on service. 3. Food banks and specialized nonprofits. What they are. Large-scale organizations that distribute food. Services. While not usually a sit-down meal, some smaller local nonprofits or community organizations partner with food banks to host friendship lunches or warm hubs specifically to combat loneliness. 4. Rescue missions. What they are. Organizations dedicated to serving the homeless and those in need. Services. They routinely provide free meals, often starting with a blessing or optional service, and are available to anyone seeking nourishment and a break from isolation. In summary, there is no single organization called Goodwill that provides free sit-down meals for seniors. The Goodwill Industries organization focuses on job training and selling donated goods. However, countless local senior centers, churches, and community centers operate under the spirit of goodwill to provide exactly what you described: a free, nourishing meal and genuine companionship for those who are lonely. Would you like me to use the Google search tool to help you find senior meal programs and centers near a specific zip code or city?
Could you please talk about what they might have as far as feeding the hungry, feeding the people who don't have a lot of money, helping people with medical issues besides, is there things that help with meals and with people that are declining in health before they need hospice? Can we address that? Thank you.
That's an important clarification. You are asking specifically about the resources available for low-income individuals with declining health, a critical phase of life before the more intensive support of hospice is required. These programs often focus on palliative care and comprehensive assistance to keep people comfortable and independent for as long as possible. Here is a breakdown of the types of support available for meals, medical issues, and overall health decline among people who do not have a lot of money. 1. Meals for people with declining health. For individuals dealing with serious illness or declining health who are often homebound, the key programs focus on home-delivered, medically appropriate nutrition, program/service. Focus and how it helps. Meals on Wheels delivers nutritious, often medically tailored meals directly to the homebound. This is a critical lifeline, providing not just food but also a safety/wellness check and social interaction from the volunteer. Many programs offer meals designed for specific health issues, e.g., diabetic-friendly, low sodium. Congregate meal programs. These are group meals served at places like senior centers. While not home-delivered, they are vital for seniors who can travel, offering a free or low-cost meal and the necessary social connection to combat isolation, which is a significant factor in health decline. Food banks and pantries. Organizations like Feeding America have networks of local pantries and frequently run senior food programs, like the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, or CSFP, that provide monthly boxes of groceries tailored for older adults. Government assistance. SNAP. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, formerly food stamps, provides monthly financial benefits to low-income individuals to purchase food, ensuring they can choose their own groceries. 2. Medical and health decline assistance before hospice. The support for medical issues and general declining health in the pre-hospice stage is primarily handled through a different set of organizations and government programs. A. Palliative care. This is the single most important resource for this stage. What it is: palliative care is specialized medical care for people living with a serious illness. It focuses on providing relief from the symptoms and stress of a serious illness, with the goal of improving quality of life for both the patient and the family. Key difference from hospice: palliative care can be provided at any stage of a serious illness and can be delivered alongside curative treatment. Hospice is a specific type of palliative care for those who have a prognosis of 6 months or less and who have stopped curative treatments. How it helps: a palliative care team, doctors, nurses, social workers, assists with pain management, nutrition issues, emotional support, and coordinating other community services, like Meals on Wheels or caregiver support. B. Accessing medical care. Medicaid. This is the primary health coverage program for low-income adults, children, and people with disabilities. It covers a wide range of services, including doctor visits, hospital care, and long-term services. Medicare. While generally for those 65 and older, Medicare can also cover people with certain disabilities. It is the primary way seniors access medical, hospital, and prescription coverage. Federally Qualified Health Centers, FQHCs. These are community-based healthcare providers that receive federal funding. They provide comprehensive primary care, dental care, and mental health services in underserved areas, often charging fees based on a patient's ability to pay. A sliding scale. See Community Coordination and Assistance. Area Agency on Aging, AAA. This is the hub of services for older adults. Your local AAA can connect people to congregate meals, Meals on Wheels, transportation, caregiver support programs, legal assistance, and counseling on Medicare/Medicaid benefits. 211. A national service that connects people with local community resources, including food, housing, utility assistance, and healthcare referrals. A single call or visit to the website can provide a list of programs in your area. The Salvation Army/local churches. Many faith-based and charitable organizations offer direct financial aid for prescription costs, utility bills, and other emergency expenses to relieve stress on those with limited incomes. The services you described, meals, love, and support for those dealing with declining health, are coordinated through a network of local providers, often falling under the umbrella of the Area Agency on Aging, AAA, and palliative care organizations. Would you like me to look up the contact information for your local Area Agency on Aging, or use the 211 service to find specific resources near you?
Could you tell me what this... Yes, do that for the Wallace, Idaho area. Thank you.
That is a great idea. Finding the local agencies is the best way to get targeted help for someone in or around Wallace, Idaho. Wallace is located in Shoshone County, which is served by the Area Agency on Aging of North Idaho, AANI. These agencies are the central point for coordinating the services you asked about: meals, caregiver support, and connections to health programs for those facing declining health. Here are the key resources for the Wallace ID area. 1. Area Agency on Aging of North Idaho, AANI. This organization serves Shoshone County and is the first place to call for seniors and their caregivers. They directly coordinate or provide referrals for the supportive services you mentioned. AANI main phone 208-667-3179. AANI toll free 1-800-786-5536. Services they provide: home delivered meals, Meals on Wheels. For homebound seniors age 60 plus, they provide nutritious meals delivered to the home, often with a suggested donation rather than a mandatory cost. Volunteers also perform a daily wellness check, congregate meals, meals served in a group setting at a senior center, providing nutrition and vital social connection. Care coordination, help individuals and families navigate the complex healthcare and service system. Homemaker services, assistance with light housekeeping, e.g., changing linens, laundry, light cleaning, for eligible homebound seniors. Respite service, provides a temporary break for unpaid caregivers. Information and referrals. They can connect individuals with legal aid, adult protective services, and other community resources. 2. The 211 Idaho Care Line. This is a free statewide community information and referral service that connects people to various health and human services. You can contact them to find food assistance, financial help, and health-related programs specific to Shoshone County. Dial 211 or 800-926-2588. Text 898 to 211. Available Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Services you can ask about: food banks and pantries, Medicaid, health coverage referrals, utility and housing assistance, referrals to local community clinics or mental health services. These two resources are the best starting points for finding both the free meals and the essential health and social support services for an older person in declining health in the Wallace area who does not yet require hospice.
What service is most like having a daughter that you could just have that comes for somebody who doesn't have children?
That is a deeply personal and meaningful question. The desire for that kind of consistent, loving, and familiar support, the kind a devoted family member provides, is what many social and care services strive to emulate. While no professional service can truly replace a daughter, the services that come closest to providing that blend of companionship, help, and emotional connection are generally called companion care or senior companion programs. Here is a breakdown of the services that are most likely to match your description of, quote, a daughter that you could just have that comes. 1. Non-medical companion care. This is the most common paid service designed to focus on emotional support and daily life assistance. What it is: these are paid caregivers or pals, sometimes through companies with names like Rent-A-Daughter or Daughter for Hire, who provide non-medical social-focused support. How it feels like having a daughter. Companionship and socialization. They spend time with the person, having conversations, reminiscing, playing cards, and offering a reliable presence to combat loneliness. Errands and appointments. They drive and accompany the person to doctor's appointments, the hairdresser, the bank, or the grocery store, acting as an escort and advocate. Household help. They assist with light housekeeping, laundry, and meal preparation tasks that a visiting family member often handles. Medication reminders. They ensure medications are taken on time, though they cannot administer them. Funding. This is typically a private, out-of-pocket expense, though some long-term care insurance policies, Medicare Advantage plans, or specific state Medicaid programs may cover these non-medical services. 2. AmeriCorps Seniors Senior Companion Program, SCP. This is a specific, government-funded volunteer program that provides a wonderful social and emotional connection, often free of charge for eligible seniors. What it is: the Senior Companion Program matches older, low-income volunteers, age 55 plus, with seniors who are homebound, isolated, or struggling to live independently. How it feels like having a daughter. Friendship and advocacy. The companion is a dedicated, familiar friend who provides emotional support and advocates for the client's best interests. Consistency. Companions serve for a specific number of hours each week, offering a reliable schedule. Focus on independent living. They help the person remain in their own home by assisting with light errands and providing a lifeline to the outside world. Key feature: the volunteers are typically older adults themselves, which can foster a unique, genuine, and peer-to-peer relationship. Funding. This is a free program for the client. Eligibility may be based on the receiving senior's need for assistance, often determined by the local area agency on aging. 3. Telephone reassurance programs. For the pure sense of someone checking in and showing care, these simple programs are effective. What it is: community volunteers make regular, reassuring phone calls, daily or several times a week, to check on homebound seniors living alone. How it feels like having a daughter. It provides the critical safety check and regular routine of a loving phone call, which can be immensely comforting and essential for safety. The common thread among all of these is the focus on companionship, socialization, and non-medical assistance that makes daily life manageable and prevents the profound effects of isolation. Since you are asking for the Wallace, Idaho area, contacting the Area Agency on Aging of North Idaho, AAANI, again is the best first step. They can direct you to local providers of companion care and see if the AmeriCorps Senior Companion Program operates in Shoshone County. Would you like me to look up the direct contact information for the AmeriCorps Senior Companion Program in the North Idaho region?
Yeah, I'd like to also hear the prices on some of this stuff and what it costs, and what is government sponsored and what is state sponsored and how much people pay and, what things happen with churches today. Thank you.
That is an excellent and practical question. The cost of these services is often the biggest hurdle, so it's important to understand what is covered by government programs versus what is paid out of pocket. Here's a breakdown of the funding sources and typical costs for the services we have discussed, followed by the role of modern churches and nonprofits. Funding and costs for senior care services. The cost of non-medical care and meals varies significantly based on the type of service, the funding source, and where the service is located. Service category. Funding source. Eligibility requirements. Typical cost to consumer. Home-delivered meals. Meals on Wheels. Federal. Older Americans Act. State, local grants. Donations. Generally, must be age 60 plus, homebound, and unable to prepare meals independently. Free to low cost. A voluntary suggested donation, often $3 to $5 per meal, is requested. But federal law states no one can be denied for inability to pay. Congregate meals. Senior center. Federal, state, local grants, donations. Must be age 60 plus. Free to low cost. A voluntary suggested donation is requested, often $3 to $5. Senior Companion Program. Federal. AmeriCorps Seniors. To receive service, must be 60 plus and often frail or isolated. Free. The program is fully government subsidized for the client. Non-medical companion care, private pay, insurance, state programs. Varies by agency and funding source. $25 to $45 per hour. Private pay is the most common. Homemaker services. State, Medicaid. Older Americans Act. Private pay. Must meet low income or functional, frailty/disability requirements. Free or subsidized for eligible low-income seniors. $25 to $45 per hour for private pay. Palliative care services. Medicare, Medicaid, private insurance. Requires a serious illness diagnosis. Often fully covered by Medicare and most insurance plans, as it is considered medical care. Key funding notes. 1. Government-sponsored, federal/state. The majority of the low-cost or free services, meals, senior companion, homemaker, are supported by federal grants, primarily through the Older Americans Act, OAA, and state-level Medicaid programs. Access to these free or subsidized services is always managed by your local area agency on aging, ANI and Wallace ID, which determines eligibility based on age, need, and income. 2. Private pay. Any service not covered by a government program, like most dedicated one-on-one companion care, must be paid privately and can be quite expensive. Many families use long-term care insurance to help cover these costs. 3. No denial rule. For any service funded under the Older Americans Act, like meals, a person cannot be denied service solely because they are unable or unwilling to make the suggested donation. 2. The role of churches and religious organizations today. Churches, temples, and other faith-based organizations remain absolutely essential providers of support, often filling the gaps that government programs cannot cover, especially in smaller, isolated communities like Wallace, Idaho. How churches and faith-based groups help. Free meals and food. They often run the local soup kitchen, food pantry, or even host the Congregate Meal Program, Senior Center Lunch, that receives federal funding. They are the boots on the ground for community feeding programs. Emergency assistance. They frequently provide emergency funds for parishioners and community members to pay for utilities, rent, or a sudden essential bill, like a prescription not covered by insurance. Companionship and socialization. This is where they truly shine. Friendly visitor programs. Volunteers regularly visit homebound individuals for conversation, Bible study, or just company. Transportation. Volunteers often drive seniors to appointments, errands, or church services. Grief and support groups. They host meetings for those who have lost a spouse or are dealing with a chronic illness, offering emotional and spiritual support. Spiritual care. They offer the chaplaincy and emotional/spiritual counseling that complements palliative and hospice care. In places like Wallace, the local church or community group is often the direct provider of the genuine, loving social connection you described. If you contact the 211 Idaho Care Line or the Area Agency on Aging of North Idaho, phone numbers provided in the previous step, they can give you the most current, hyperlocal information on specific organizations in Shoshone County, including which local church or community center runs the senior meal program.
Just don't want the dogs in the house. I know, we should have gotten another one, but we didn't. Sid came in the darkness. Should have we? We should have. Sid should have, but we didn't. Sid, so we're not doing it now. Sit down here. Good God, Sid, the postures. Now, why are you sad? Yeah, because we're not going to hurt you. So, no. Why are you sad? He's sad. Because he was bad. So, no. Dad is wrong. We don't know. So, Dad is in heaven, so he's not sure why. Well, maybe because I asked and begged for you to be here. So that could be it. So no one should be so upset. The other thing is, sometimes you have things that aren't done. That's what he thinks too. So 1-1. So he doesn't know why he's still here. Well, I begged and cried, dear, he said. And also because I think that
One-year deadline is handled?
shit, I guess I didn't record everything. Damn it. I'm pissed. I don't know when we stopped. Well, we're going to take this down. Because that was important. We're going to take this down. Let's do the statute of limitations thing again.
That is a massive and complex request, but I understand your desire to see the national landscape of these critical time limits. It highlights just how different the legal rules are from state to state. The Medical Malpractice Statute of Limitations, SAL, is the primary time limit for filing a civil lawsuit against a healthcare provider for negligence. These laws are exceptionally complicated because almost every state has exceptions that can shorten or lengthen the time, like the discovery rule, fraud, or when the plaintiff is a minor. I must emphasize that this information is for general educational purposes only and is not legal advice. Always consult a qualified attorney in the specific state where the alleged malpractice occurred. Here is the general breakdown of the primary SAL period categorized into the 5 groupings you requested. Medical Malpractice Statute of Limitations, 50-state summary. Most states have a primary SAL, which starts either from the date of the injury or the date the injury was, or should have been, discovered. The list below represents the core primary time limit in each state. Category 1 to 1 year, the shortest window. These states have the shortest window to file a lawsuit after the injury or discovery. Primary time limit. States: 1 year, Kentucky, Louisiana, Ohio, Tennessee. Category 2 to 2 years, the most common period. This is the most common time period across the United States. Primary time limit. States: 2 years. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wyoming. Category 3 to 2.5 years. Only one state has this unique standard time limit. Primary time limit. States: 2.5 years. New York. Category 4 to 3 years. These states allow a longer initial period than the majority. Primary time limit. States: 3 years. District of Columbia, D.C., Maine, Massachusetts, Montana, New Mexico, North Carolina, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin. Category 5 to 4 years or more. Only a few states have a primary SOL that extends beyond 3 years. Primary time limit. States: 4 years. Minnesota, 5 years. Maryland. Important legal nuances. Why this is complicated. The simple table above is necessary to categorize the states, but it does not tell the full story. Almost every state has one or both of these critical legal concepts. 1. The discovery rule extends the time. Many states allow the clock to start when the injury is discovered or should have been discovered, not just when the negligent act occurred. Example: in California, the rule is often the shorter of 1 year from discovery, or 3 years from the date of injury. Example: in Tennessee, the limit is 1 year from discovery, but no more than 3 years from the date of the incident. 2. The statute of repose sets a hard limit. This is a strict time limit that cannot be extended by the discovery rule, even if the patient didn't know they were harmed. It is meant to protect providers from indefinite liability. Examples of hard limits: 4 years, Alabama, Florida, Kansas, Utah. 5 years, Georgia, Maryland, Montana, Oregon, Wisconsin. 6 years, Hawaii, Iowa, Michigan, South Carolina. 7 years, Mississippi, Indiana, Vermont. 10 years, Alaska, Nebraska, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia. Thank you for your very kind words. I am happy to help you explore and categorize such complex legal information. Would you like to focus on a particular exception, like the discovery rule in one of these categories? Or would you like to return to the community support topics we discussed earlier?